What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. Hey, I got another episode, man. We back again here today. Got a few good topics today. I got my man John Reid with me. He was out there in that hot sun today. He gonna tell us how them Jaguars look. We're gonna talk about this new facility with the new hotel and everything they got going on. Get those details. But man, we're gonna jump right into it today. We'll talk about this Jay Cutler, man, and this divorce real quick. So I saw this earlier. I think I saw it yesterday, either yesterday or today. I saw it one of the days, and it says Jay Cutler wants half. That was the big headline. I'm like, half of what? So I'm reading the story, and I see he wants half of her company. I think it's Uncommon James is what it's called. It's a company she created while they were married. Mm-hmm. And I've seen where they talked about Jay Cutler was pretty much the star of their reality show, Keeping Up with Cavallari, his wife or whatever. And then them starting the company. And, she's saying that Jay didn't use any of his money to start the company. But like I told you, she used his likeness and his image and his name to promote this company. They aren't where they are today if it's not for Jay Cutler and everything and what he did on the football field, bringing that pub to her business and that reality show.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, that's probably the biggest news of the day from what I just glanced at it's in the Sun, it's on TMZ. NFL players is taking to Twitter and talking about it. I didn't hear it on the practice field with the Jaguars today, but
yeah.
This is something different, let's be real about it. A lot of times when you have divorces, particularly with divorces with big name people, usually the husband who, have to shell out the money.
Yeah, that's who it is. That's what to shell out the money.
This is different. He feels that they were married and the company was established when they were married, so he feels obviously that he wants a piece of the pie, and he's got a lot of he has received a lot of support from the NFL. So I don't know if it's going to be like one of those one of those flagship cases,
right?
That they'll be using this case for the next 40 years or so. That something like this happened, and they can rely on this case to see how it goes, but. Definitely interesting, man. There's always something interesting in the sports world. Right? It never goes without something different or something, just kind of pique your interest. And this is,
yeah.
I mean, this is something that's a little different, man. But
personally, I think it's a sign of things to come.
Yeah,
because you have more women who are going to be breadwinners in their relationships. Women who are making more money and women who are just making money in their relationships. Yeah. And now the courts, they want to talk about equality. Well, the courts say whoever has the money, you got to split those assets. Don't matter whether it's male or female. And a lot more women are seeing that. Like, that's one thing about women. Women see what's going on with that. So the marriage rates are dropping because, men are, of course, walking away. But women are like, especially if she's a high earner or got high potential, she's not doing it. She's like, no, she's not doing it. She's like, because I'm not going to take care of a man for the rest of his life. Because, dude gets alimony for the rest of his life. He ain't getting remarried. He's going to keep collecting that check just like they've done. So, I mean, this par for the course. It is what it is. Change the laws or it's going to continue to be this way. So, from Darius Slade to Adrian Amos, all those guys, man, they applauding Jay, man, applauding him. Say, hey, because if the shoe was on the other foot, you already know what it is. Good girl, get all the money you can, girl. Get all the money you can. That's what they would be doing. So, hey, Jay, get as much of this company as you possibly can.
Yeah, I think he might have a lot of wives and husbands who put clauses in there. There might be an increase in that also. But
yeah,
there are some NFL players that has wives as models who's making more.
Yeah. Giselle makes more than Tom.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. Yeah. So
yeah, she.
But
So
they happily married. So
hey, you never know, man. You never know, man. We're starting to see COVID has claimed tons of relationships and marriages. So this is just one more because they've been divorcing for the last 6 months, 8 months or so. They filed for divorce in 2020. So I mean, the reason it's being held up is because he wants half that company, and she's like, oh no, we're not having this. But hey, it is what it is.
yeah, but it ended up in the courts, and the courts did decide, and boy, you ain't no telling what you might see if it sides in his favor, though. So,
Oh man, yeah, there's no telling. There's no telling what you're gonna see, man. So, but
that's the
yeah,
world we live in, man. That's the post coronavirus world, man. It's so many things. I mean, sometimes I just shake my head. I watch NBC News in the afternoon, and it just from politics to kid nursery rhymes. It's just so much in the news right now. You know,
yeah,
people going in hacking meat companies and pipelines and
yeah,
it's just almost to the point now that nothing shocks you.
right, right, man. Yeah, well, hey, I hope Jay get all he's looking for. Because one of her complaints about Jay was that he didn't want to do anything but stay on the ranch in Tennessee and be with his family and his kids. He's like he's been chased around by some of the biggest and most athletic men on the planet and been getting his head beat in for a better part of probably 20 years, including college and high school. The man wants to rest, and she had a problem with that. So get your money, Jay.
Well, he is retired. I don't understand. Like, hey, if you're retired, ain't you supposed to be on I wouldn't say a farm, but ain't you supposed to enjoy what life has to offer when you not working?
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the perks and the privileges. Because believe it or not, he got chased around a lot on the football field. And he was the quarterback who he had a lot of sacks
yeah,
on the
yeah.
receiving end of sacks. So
Yeah, he was, man. So, well, let's transition. Let's talk about Trevor's big day.
yeah,
I heard Trevor looked like the real deal today. I think John Shipley was live tweeting it, and a couple of outlets on Twitter were talking about it, and say he hit some guys deep and got some oohs and ahs today.
yeah, he hit James O'Shaughnessy deep. I don't know if we were most shocked about James O'Shaughnessy going deep on a route as a tight end, something that we hadn't seen. I mean, and definitely since I've been covering the team to have tight ends going on post routes. But
Yeah,
I tell you, boy, he still makes some flaws as a rookie. Like his reads. You know, he's still learning the offense as he go on. But when you just talking about his natural talent, man, I don't. I think one time I tried to count 001, 002 to see how
hmm
quick his release is, and man, I think he was firing the ball before I can say 002. The ball was out of his hands, and it was at least like 10 yards downfield. I mean, just his. I mean, it's just amazing to watch a quarterback that no matter what type of throw, he can be on a rollout, bootleg, you know, drop back in the pocket, 3-step drop back. And I swear today, I would say like 95% of his throws today on rollouts, on any pass that he threw, it was accurate.
yeah,
And it was spinning accurate. It's getting to the target like real quick before the defensive back can react. And it's just that, I mean, this guy, I'm gonna tell you guys from watching him, I don't watch them 3 practices. Jacksonville has never had a quarterback that has what this kid got. You
hmm
could. I mean, he's gonna have his growing pains as far as learning defenses and reads and
yeah,
and knowing the hot reads and all that with this offense. But I'm telling you, and I don't brag on guys, especially not rookies. But this
Mm-hmm.
kid got something special, man. I watched a lot of football in my day. I go back to Staubach, I go back to Montana, and a lot of those great quarterbacks, man, is like number one, get the ball out of hand quick. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, be accurate. And number three, like you see, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that can throw short range, mid range passes, hit it on the numbers and all that. There are some players, there are some quarterbacks that can throw deep accurately. But ain't a lot of quarterbacks in this league, except you know, Mahomes and guys like that 85% of the time they throw in the pass. It's just something that they can get out of danger. They can throw on the run. They can do all that. I see
Yeah.
where Trevor Lawrence is. Man, he's got the potential in my thinking that it's almost amazing what this guy gonna be in 3 years with experience.
Yeah.
And another thing about him, he's getting better. I mean, even in the OTAs, they're not in pads. They're doing a lot of simplified stuff. But when you can watch a guy and you can see his talent and just on drills, that
Mm-hmm.
every time he throw the ball is in the numbers, no matter what direction, if he can roll right, which is not his primary side, and he can still get the ball the same way if he roll right or left, it doesn't matter. And that's what he was out there showing today, man. Getting man, he was hitting guys when as soon as they broke to the sideline. He hit LaVisca Chenault one time, and LaVisca broke on a curl route to the sideline, and he took one step on the break, and the ball was there. I mean, he didn't have to wait. He didn't have to reach out and grab it. Soon as he stuck his foot and made the turn, the ball was there, and it was on a rollout play. It's not like he's dropped back or in a shotgun where he can set up and throw. He made the throw on the run, and on that touchdown throw he threw to James O'Shaughnessy. He threw it across the shoulder like he rolled right, and then he just stepped back and just like a bullet, it just sailed straight over the top and in his hands. And you can have all the coverage in the world, man, but if you got a quarterback that can, if the timing is right, which it looked like their timing is getting right, he's getting more adaptable and more comfortable with those receivers, and it just seems like, man. But I done watched a lot of quarterbacks here in Jacksonville since 2017, boy, and I tell you, I ain't seen nothing like this kid.
Right. Let's see. Cha say, anybody look good when there's no rush coming to him. We will see when the season jump off.
Yeah.
I feel you, Cha, but we've had quarterbacks who didn't even look good when there was no rush coming. So at least we've checked that box. I mean, Blake Bortles, there's no rush coming, and he was awful in practice sometimes. I mean, I'll never forget that practice where he threw 5 interceptions, and it was on the front page of the news in 2017. Yeah, so, I mean.
But another thing, Brandon, a lot of people say that, but a lot of things is just natural, like throwing mechanics, the way he throws off his foot, his foot mechanics, the spin on the ball, none of his passes flutters. I mean, it's just like, even when they put on pads and if they can protect him, you can see right now that 85 to 90% of his passes is going to be there, regardless if the pass rush comes or not. And you don't have to have pads on to see some of the skill set that this kid got that a lot of guys probably been in the league 10 years can't establish it because it ain't coachable. You can't coach him to do some of the things that he can do. This is natural born talent, man. This ain't nothing about Urban Meyer. They can kind of tinker him and make sure he throw off a 3-step drop and those kind of things that they can work on. And obviously when the pads come on, he's going to be more where he's going to be forced to make rush throws and those kind of things. But Man, talent. One thing about sports, talent is talent. I used to see Anthony Davis play scrimmage games against his own teammates, and that wasn't in an NBA game, but you could see in those scrimmage games that he had something that those other cats didn't have. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean, throwing with anticipation too. Throwing with anticipation. One of Blake's issues is Blake's throwing mechanics and his footwork.
Oh,
They needed so much work, and he got a little better as time went on. But once you get to that level, man, muscle memory takes over, and you're gonna go back to what you are. So what your muscles remember. It's the same with Tebow. Tebow trained and trained and trained and trained and trained. He could never change his throwing mechanics. He could never change his delivery. He could never change that. Those things take time. Like, you need a couple years. Only time we've seen it successful is with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, they broke him down. They broke him down to the base and built him back up. It's hard to do. Like you said, Trevor has a natural talent for throwing the football. It's just something that he does.
Yeah, and then he can even, like Garner mentioned, wasn't there today, but Garner has some talent. But the difference with Garner is probably going to be a backup for a long time. He doesn't have the arm strength. I mean, he's got the willpower. He's got everything that you can ask for as far as trying to be a great NFL quarterback. Yeah. But he can't consistently throw an accurate 65-yard pass. If you ask him to go out there on the practice field, let me see you put it up 4 times. Mm-hmm. It won't get there 4 times. It might get there 2 times, but it won't get there 4 times. With Trevor, if you ask him to throw 6 out of the 7 and the bullseye is on the 20 and he's 60 yards away from the bullseye, he's going to hit that bullseye at least 6 of the 7 times. That's the difference.
Yeah.
And you can't coach that, know. And whether they in pads or not, you can see number one is his velocity. I mean, he can throw hard but accurate. And there's a lot of guys can't throw. They either can throw hard, but they don't throw accurate, or they throw too hard when they don't need to throw hard. And that causes a lot of, the ball popping off and ricocheting up or interceptions and stuff like that. Another thing about him is he can lead the receiver. And that might sound easy that you can lead the receiver, but a lot of quarterbacks have a problem with that because he's leading them. Yeah. If that quarterback is covered, then the ball is not going to be in any direction where the cornerback can deflect it because he's allowing space for that receiver. The person that can catch that pass is the receiver, and that's a gift, man. You can have a guy come in NFL who can practice that 100 times and still don't get it. That's another God gift that he has as a quarterback, that he can lead the receiver instead of, you go back to Blake Bortles. Blake tried to lead, but a lot of times his passes was either fluttering or too slow to get to the point where like a Allen Robinson need to get it, or the guy, he's through with not enough velocity, and the guy read the play, and he can come up on the cornerback and come from behind and intercept that pass. With Trevor, that won't be a problem.
Right. I don't envision that being a problem. Throwing with anticipation, throwing guys open, and then this other you talked about this before. Throwing to a spot.
Yeah.
Throwing to a spot and doing it accurately and quickly enough to where the wide receiver, he's nowhere near the spot, but the ball is already out of Trevor's hands. And the wide receiver, it's his job to get to that spot because the ball is going to be there. We haven't had that. We haven't had that at all.
And it's something like, Drew Brees is Drew Brees, but Drew Brees did a lot of that kind of stuff, even though he was short and all that. But if you look at his interception ratio was low, and he didn't get sacked a lot because he had a quick release. And there's some other great quarterbacks. If you go back in the past, that's the skill set that they had. That hitting that spot, leading the receiver, or just having a quick release and being accurate, and can make every throw. This guy can make every throw, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
man.
don't want to like overhype because yes, it is May. May football is not August and September, October football. But believe me, man, that pass that he threw to James O'Shaughnessy was at least 65 yards, and it was like a bullet.
Yeah. That's the
Across
throw
the
of the
field.
day.
Huh?
Yeah. That was the throw of the day. Everybody
It,
talked about that
it
throw.
was like across the field. He rolled to his left, and O'Shaughnessy was on the opposite side of the field. And I don't and he took one glance at O'Shaughnessy, and I don't even think he stepped back. I just think he just threw it. And it went like a bullet across the field.
That's it, man.
I said, man, if they don't be nothing else this season, they'll be exciting with this kid. The only problem I think they got with Trevor, they got to protect him. And I still haven't seen a whole lot out of the offensive line. I think Cam came to camp in shape. I mean, he looks good. Walk a little looks good, but man, for some reason, I still got fear about that left tackle position. I don't know why. The people are in place. They look big. They in shape, but I don't know, man. I'm just being honest.
I mean, we've had calls for concern already. So, but Urban Meyer and them, I believe that whatever the problem is, like you said, wherever the leak is, they're going to work overtime to plug the leak. They're not going to let it linger. So even if they can't do anything to fix it this year, they will find a way to patch it.
Brandon, let me share a story with you today from the practice that Urban Meyer said on the record. He said, when he first took the job, he said that he looked at every player that's back. He looked at every game, every situation, and he evaluated every player that they got on this football team that played on the team last year. He said that he saw DJ Chalk. He said DJ Chalk, from what I saw, it was like he was a big man playing little. His strength was bad. He didn't meet the standards of what we expect out of a wide receiver. And he ain't just tell us that. He had the meeting and he told DJ Chalk that. He said, in order for you to play for us, you're going to have to get back in the weight room and play like you did your rookie year. And all I got to say is this, man. How many coaches that publicly will say that they basically told one of their top players that this is not good enough?
Yeah.
That's basically what he said. He said, you don't meet the standards of what we expect as a wide receiver from the way you performed out there on the field last year. And you can't come back here and don't show like you didn't work on your game. I mean, you might have worked on your routes and you worked on being like fit and ready and in shape and all that stuff. But you didn't work on the physical aspect of you. Like you couldn't get out of like press coverage because you wasn't strong enough to fight through that. And I've never heard of that. I mean, I've never heard of a coach. I can see a coach saying that to a 7th round draft pick or an undrafted free agent trying to make the team and being that.
Yeah.
But DJ Chalk is like one of their best young players. I mean, basically they're player of the future. And for that coach to come out and tell him directly, and DJ, he took it like, I mean, at least that's what he told us, that he accepted that he didn't play the level that he should have played at, and he accepted the criticism, and he went in the weight room all season, and he looked great today in practice, and he is bigger. But I tell you what, if you got a head coach like that, they're gonna tell you. He ain't gonna sugarcoat. He ain't gonna tell you just because, hey, you my guy and all this. We drafted you, which he didn't draft DJ Chalk, but these guys.
Yeah.
If a coach can tell you straight that you basically was bad, then I just don't think that's just gonna be like, okay, this is something that he did during the off season. He's going to be doing this like week to week this upcoming season. And if you don't perform at a level, and this is even Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's taking. It could be Tim Tebow. Everybody talk about, he's granting Tim Tebow these special favors. But believe me, if Tim Tebow go out there in week 2 and he drop a touchdown pass, I think Urban gonna tell him about it. So
that right there, I've heard of it before. I haven't seen a coach do it publicly like that, but it's similar to what the way Chad Johnson Ochocinco talks about his first day at the facility with the New England Patriots, and he talked about how he said they were coming off a Super Bowl, and Brady they were in there watching film, and Bill Belichick just laid into Brady. Laid into him. I mean, because the plays they were showing, I guess Brady messing up or whatever, say he laid into Brady. And he say for him to berate Brady like that in front of the entire team, it set the tone. Say everybody else is walking on eggshells. I say, because if you do this to the Golden Boy, just imagine what he's going to do to me. So Urban Meyer, I think he kind of has that Jimmy Johnson thing where he'll treat you according to how you play or your importance to the team. He said, because it's not I'm going to treat everybody the same. No, I'm going to treat you according to how valuable you are to the team. So like with Jimmy Johnson, say backup linebacker fell asleep in practice, and fell asleep in film, and they cut him the next day. Emmitt Smith falls asleep the next day, and they say, "Hey, Emmitt, wake up." I mean, that's the difference. I mean, like DJ Chark, he's not going to go out and cut DJ Chark, of course, but he's going to let DJ know. Say, hey, this is not the standard. And if you don't get it the way I need it to be, you will be on the chopping block. So it sets the tone. Like, what players can come in there and say, hey, I'm safe now? None.
You're right. And when you look at these practices compared to like last year with Monroe, OTAs, we can only watch like one practice per week. But the last 2 weeks that I've seen these guys, man, it's like everything is high intensity. It's almost like these guys are fighting for their lives, fighting for their jobs right now. And there's it's like everything is on the time clock. I looked at the defense, and it's like, man, the defensive, like every drill, everybody's going 100%. And Urban is like watching everything. I mean, he can go from defense to offense, go to the secondary. I even saw C.J. Henderson. Now, he's supposed to be rehabbing today, but he was out there in the defensive drills, and he was on the field, and then he went back on the side field and was back rehabbing and running and stuff. But I think these guys, man, I think one thing about what I've seen so far from the Jaguars, it's a fear out there, man. I think it's a fear that every guy, and it ain't about for a veteran. You look at a veteran. I mean, you can throw any veteran out there. Let's just say James O'Shaughnessy, since we talked about him. There are guys going to be on this team that's got a locked contract. Joe Schobert. I mean, he's got a locked contract. They can't cut him because of the cap hit. But believe me, when you got Damian Wilson playing backup that can move him out at any second, or you got C.J. Henderson knowing that Tyson Campbell can come in and move him out, you got all these receivers, man, and it's like all of them know what that competition is behind them, including DJ Chark. And when you got that type of pressure, and this is like voluntary OTAs.
Yeah.
And you can already see, number one, the intensity. When they went on 7-on-7 and 11-on-11, it's like all out, man. They're not in pads, obviously, but it's like when you watch the receivers going against those defensive backs, man, it's like all out, 100%. I got to knock this ball out this receiver's hand, or the receiver, I got to catch it. And that's how it looked today, man. It's like they had high intensity, and they went after each other. And there was some wins on the offense and some wins on the defense. But, man, and I say this, Brandon, back in 2017 when this team won the AFC South, that was some of the things that we saw during those practices, where it was a whole bunch of intensity. It was long, hard practices, and basically those guys bought in for that 1 year for Monroe. And that's what it looked like out here right now. And this is OTAs. When I saw them in 2017, they were already in training camp, basically. I mean, I saw the end of OTAs. But now, I'm almost to the point like, well, what is the intensity level going to be in July when they open up training camp? Particularly, we got to cut that roster down from 90 to 50, whatever, to get to 53.
Mm-hmm.
So, you win by practicing.
Yeah, you do, man. Hey, and say, I forgot to say, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. I think that was Parcells. Yeah.
Who used to get the most out of his players too.
Yeah, man. So, man, let's talk about these Jaguar facility, this proposal. Say $441 million plus the hotel. I see what Shad Khan is going to take on half, and pay half of like 120 or so, 120 plus, and I'm pretty sure he's probably covering any overages. But I think they shot down his other proposal. So now, do you think this one is going to get approved?
Man, that's a hard question, Brandon. You got to look at a city council. I'll say this from my experiences in New Orleans. I think if you look at the percentages of the teams that have their own facility, the NFL teams, a lot of them either build it on their own or they don't ask no more than 20% to 30% of public money. 50% is a little high for our town. When you consider that what happened with Lot J, and you talking about cost. Another thing about that this whole thing is on the 50-50 partnership, like if there are cost overruns, then the Jaguars will be responsible for the cost overruns. But I mean, I think we got a city council. I think it's needed. I'll say this. I think the city. I think it's got to start from somewhere. And there's no 5-star hotel. It's a 5-star in Miami, 4 seasons, and then another 4-season 5-star hotel until you get to Atlanta.
Right.
And I think that when you look at what this can, I think it can bring more to the city. I think this is just a start of it. I think that I think the stadium has to tie into this. Right now Jacksonville is not in a position to throw $1 billion to rebuild and build a new stadium. But from this project, you get the practice facility up and running. Then you can start with the stadium improvements. So this team wouldn't have to go to another city to practice and that kind of thing. So, and that's something that they spoke about. But Jacksonville got to come to a point, man, where being a resident like you, I think it's time for Jacksonville. You're gonna have to spend money to see progress. If you're not willing to spend money, then you're gonna have to get out of the NFL game. I mean, you can't stay in the NFL game if you're not willing to spend. When you look at the stadiums in the NFL and see all the different types of restaurants, you go up to New England, they got a hotel and a mall around their stadium, and it's just like Jacksonville. In order to be part of that club, then you're gonna have to allow Shad Khan to to either allow this investment. I don't think this can strike. I don't think this can be strike two, and this team going to continue to be in Jacksonville. The hotel that he owns would be another additional revenue stream for the franchise, obviously. And if you really look at their situation from being inside their situation inside the stadium, and look at they got auxiliary locker room. I mean, you can literally go to some colleges. You can go to South Carolina, not Florida yet, but Florida is building theirs. But you can go to many, Ohio State. You could, Alabama, definitely. You could go to some colleges, and their football only facility is 70 times better than what the Jaguars have. And we got a head football coach trying to tell these players that we want you to give your best, and we're going to give you the best back, which is facilities. And we don't want you to having to go to Los Angeles to work with a trainer or, some therapist, massage therapist. We want to have all this here in the facility so we can keep these guys here year round. Yeah. And Jacksonville got to understand, man, in order for this team to stay in this city, it's going to take tax dollars. It's going to take a commitment from the city council. And it's going to take a thinking that Shad Khan, you're going to have to invest with him, whether you like him or not or whatever. I don't know what the perception is, but it's going to have to be a awakening in Jacksonville that in order for that football team to stay in Jacksonville, it got to go through Shad Khan.
Yeah, it does. Shoot, I from off the top of my head, I haven't seen Ohio State's facilities. I haven't. I've seen Alabama's, but I haven't seen Ohio State's facilities. But off the top of my head, I was thinking because they said that Urban Meyer had, threw out the proposal of the football facility, standalone football facility. And they basically reworking the practice fields to put a whole facility there. And off the top of my head, I was like, I know when he got here and he saw those facilities, he was like, the facilities in Ohio State are better. Like hands down. It's not even close. And I haven't seen Ohio State facility. And I know that for a fact that they are better facilities. So it only makes sense because one thing about it, this is an NFL team. You're in the NFL business. You cannot nickel and dime now. You can't be cheap now. You can't. I mean, it is what it is. So if you want the best of the best, you want to track another Super Bowl, you have to get better. We have to get better.
And that's the thing. That's, I think, the city council. I mean, the one thing that I think and I'm not in politics, but I think the one problem in Jacksonville, you got to go through too many channels to get things done here. You got to go through this council. You got to go to this group here. You got to go through too many committees to get progress done. And they don't do that in other cities. They do, okay, this is how this is going to help the city. What is the long-term benefits of this project? What's the short-term goal? And they iron that out. They try to get a public-private partnership. You can go right now, only 3 hours away, and see the difference in how Tampa is with their infrastructure and the projects they got going on right now, and see how that is compared to Jacksonville. And you can't have, things have to be hashed out. I mean, that whole downtown project should have been in the planning stages 20 years ago. It stopped with the landing, and the landing was just a shell of what downtown development is. You got to have people got to have a reason to go downtown Jacksonville. Okay, they got to have a street where there's bars and restaurants and entertainment options and those kind of things. For too long, Jacksonville has been a place where, I don't know if it's been the stringent blue laws, which it was in the 70s, but there's been a political thinking that, this shouldn't be, this is not tolerable for Jacksonville. We are a close-knit, city. And what happened is we've fallen behind so many different towns, and you got this NFL franchise in here, and he's willing to invest 50%, and the city is willing to invest 50%. Maybe you could generate revenue from increasing the rental car tax, and they're doing it with the gas tax. But
Yeah.
they got to come up with some solutions that this city can't stand stagnant and just be the old way it's been the whole time, and allow this opportunity to pass it by. Because if they allow another opportunity to go, it's just moving the direction that this city is not serious about keeping this team. And you just can't keep the team. And okay, we got a stadium for them, we got big scoreboards for them, and we got a fan base that love this franchise, and just expect that's enough to keep them. Because it's not the pressure coming from Shad Khan. The pressure is going to come from the NFL. And when the NFL says time to build a new stadium, we all done seen what that story done turned out. Go to St. Louis, go to places where they said, if you don't build that stadium, then this team is leaving. San Diego, And hey man, I don't want Jacksonville to go back to the 70s where, we were Florida Gator, Florida State fans. We loved the fair and those kind of things, because basically that's all we had.
So, we can easily go back to that.
Yeah, you got that right. So I don't know. I think they're gonna have a fight. But Brandon, I also say this, man. Part of the proposal on this new practice facility is that they're gonna have a new indoor practice facility. It's gonna have an indoor field. And I know people are gonna say, well, wait a minute. How in the world could they have they want to build another indoor facility when they already got one on the other side of the stadium? So, and they're gonna give that flex field to the recreational department of Jacksonville, and they can have different events, which is a good thing. But you're gonna have a lot of critics saying, we paid whatever amount of money we had to get this built. Now they're saying they got to build another one. So you're gonna get that. You're gonna get that from the political side.
Yeah, you will. But like you said, you want to be in the NFL business, you have to spend money. And if you don't, there's too many willing towns ready and willing to go. You don't think St. Louis is ready for another team to come there? San Diego wants another team back. Oakland is going to look to get another team. Like cities that already have had teams and they've lost their teams, they're going to get another team. The initial, before the Jaguars to LA or the Jaguars to London, there was rumors about because Shad Khan, I think, was going to buy into the St. Louis ownership. Yeah, but he ended up not doing it. So when he got to the Jaguars, they talk about him moving the Jaguars and possibly putting them in Illinois and putting them in, because he's from Chicago, and putting his second team in Chicago. I mean, so come on now, like those didn't come from nowhere. No. You know what I'm saying? That nobody just made that up. I always say, with there's smoke, there's fire. So I mean, if they want to keep the state going, you got to spend money, man. You got to spend money.
Say this. If Chicago can support 2 baseball teams, believe me, they can support 2 football teams.
I believe it.
I don't think that a city, this is an example that Jacksonville should look at. Oakland been fighting teeth and nails for the last 20 years about building a stadium and using tax dollars. Well, the Raiders are gone. The basketball, the Warriors are gone. They wouldn't upgrade the arena there. Mm-hmm. The A's are about to go if they don't get a new stadium. So, hey, nothing lasts forever. If you don't like progress, then you shouldn't be part of the professional game, because buildings get old. And believe me, one thing that they cited at this press conference this morning, they said, as far as just pure space for football, just the existing facility that they have right now for weight room, everything just football related, not the ticket offices or no other department, just football. They had the Jaguars at the bottom of the list as far as square footage of available space right now. They said it's 50,000 square feet in Jacksonville, and the average team is 125,000 square feet of just football, weight room, locker room space, coaches' offices, and those kind of things. When they build that, if they get this facility built, it'll be at 125,000 square feet. So imagine, and if you go to TIAA Banks Field, they actually have an auxiliary locker. I mean, they got an auxiliary weight room like outside the main weight room, and you can't. Come on, man, you can't have that in the NFL, man. I mean, I don't. No. I mean, come on.
And that sounds like one of the high schools.
Yeah, and it's not 1995. That might have worked in 95, but it can't work in 2021. Can't.
No. Okay, so well, we rounded the bases on that, man. We'll see, how they do it and what they're gonna do, but hopefully they get something done, man. Because, like you said, the Jaguars can easily be gone from here, and all the jokes that we've taken over the last decade or so, people will be pointing and laughing. They sound like Nelson from The Simpsons. Ha ha! Y'all lost your team. That's how they'll be. So hopefully not, man. But
and this is the opportunity if they get this up, a nice practice facility, and maybe they'll change what the national so-called perception of Jacksonville is. So and I think this city needs that. They don't. I mean, come on, man. We both from here. We don't want to be no laughing stock for the country. We want. We don't have a 5-star hotel in this city. If an NBA team came here, they wouldn't be able to stay here. Because you have to have a 5-star for all NBA teams for whatever city they go to. So,
man, it is what it is, man. But man, let's talk about this real quick before we get into this NBA talk. Aaron Rodgers, he is a no-show right now. So I know, we done talked about Aaron Rodgers on here a lot, man. It seems like every episode we talked about Aaron Rodgers, man. He did not show up for OTAs, and not only that's not surprising to me. What was surprising to me is that he didn't show up, and the top 5 wide receivers on the team didn't show up either. So Jordan Love was out there throwing the guys off the street. I say, well, if that wasn't a message, I don't know what a message is. Him and the receiver sent the message. Now it does make you think: did they coordinate this together, or did the receivers just will say that they call Aaron and say, "Hey, you gonna be at practice?" No, I'm not. All right, neither are we, and they took off too. So, I just look at the coaches' faces and the GMs and the ownership group faces. When they saw that Aaron Rodgers was not at practice and the wide receivers weren't there, and they let you know why they weren't there.
Man, let me tell you something about Green Bay. Pride is a powerful thing. It's a lot. The GM got a lot of pride, and obviously Rodgers got a lot of pride. But somebody better come in and somebody better open up the door, and they better sit down and have a discussion. And the Packers right now got to understand that the ball is really in Aaron Rodgers' court, no matter how that sounds or what, because he can actually not play. I mean, he can actually retire. Yeah. And something has got to, one interesting thing would be if he doesn't show up for the mandatory minicamp, which I would think for them, just like the Jaguars, will be in 2 weeks, because they can actually fine him if he doesn't show up to those mandatory, the 3-day mandatory minicamp.
Yeah, so he already has a $500,000 workout bonus that's already been voided because he hasn't been there. And then if he missed those, which you're talking about, they said $93,000. Yeah. So that they can be able to find him. So I'm pretty sure he's like, it's whatever.
But you know what, man? I'll say this about this situation. if a guy not phased by losing money, then it might be hard for Green Bay to convince them to if they don't if they don't give in to what he wants.
Yeah.
There's a possibility he may not show up, and he doesn't
Yeah.
like. I mean, the bottom line is he doesn't get along with the GM
At all.
That's the issue. Now, I don't know how that transpired, what happened. Obviously, he doesn't. I mean, Rodgers doesn't respect him,
Yeah.
and if he says he's not coming back, he has to go. So the
Mm-hmm.
ultimatum has been given. But you know, Green Bay has never. I mean, you look over the history of Green Bay over the last 20 years. I know they had the Brett Favre controversy and all that, but man, this ain't a franchise that has a whole lot of side issues going on. It's never been that. It's never
No.
been. It's always been a constant. They haven't been. Super Bowl, this and that. They've been to Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, but they've never been a franchise that's that's just like got so many side issues going on that's not really related to the game.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, Brandon, the guy sounds serious to me, man. I mean, if he
Yeah.
don't care about losing money, and he's got a lot of money, I mean, he can go back on Jeopardy or whatever he does, on the side and make millions off that, or even start a broadcasting career. So, I know
Yeah.
he's up there in age as a quarterback, but if Green Bay is like set on that, oh yeah, we're gonna have him no matter what, I think they better start either trying to get a middle ground with them or cut their losses and say this is not going to work and we need to do something on our end, trade them or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to give in, man.
Shoot, well, he got options. Hey,
Yeah.
he could go start a podcast with Kwame Brown and talk crap about the Packers and make millions.
Yeah, that's when he's got a persona. People would like to hear what he has to say, and he doesn't need at this point of his life, man. He don't really need football to earn an income.
No.
That's a tough thing for Green Bay because they can't use money as leverage. So we'll see. It'll be interesting if he doesn't show up for that mandatory mini camp, though.
It will be interesting, man. So, but we're gonna move to these NBA playoffs, man. We had 53 already. It's almost an hour, so let's get into these NBA playoffs, man. We got it's do or die time tonight. I mean, will Anthony Davis play? I mean, that groin. I mean, who knows? And then even if he does play, what are you going to get out of him? Frank Vogel is going to have to go into his bag, and he's going to have to change the lineup. He's probably going to have to start Gasol at the 5 to get some spacing on the floor because the lane is clogged up. They were daring Lakers to shoot threes, so you're going to have to put more 3 shooting on the floor. They've been struggling to shoot threes anyway, but I mean, spacing the floor is going to help tremendously. Can LeBron muster up a great performance? Can he give you a 40, 10, and 10 or something like a 40-point triple-double, 50-point triple-double, something crazy like that to power them to a win tonight? I mean, I don't know. If Anthony Davis doesn't play, I think that's it. I don't care what James scores. James will score 70 tonight, and they're still probably going to lose because the supporting cast. Schroeder had no points in the last game. So I mean, it's not like it's a ton of help. I mean, injuries have derailed him, but if Anthony Davis doesn't play, I think it's over. But if he does play, man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I say this about AD because I covered him. AD, he ain't gonna change. If AD ain't 100%, AD ain't gonna play. I tweeted something a week ago, and I said AD is like an on and off switch. You don't know when he gonna shut down or when he gonna shut on. I mean, when that switch gonna come on and off. And I remember back when his days with the Pelican and all this talk about he wanted to go finally play at home and play in Chicago for the first time because each of the first 3 years he was in the league, he always had an injury. The fourth year, he had another injury that happened the night before they played on the back-to-back. Did he play? No. And that was just like I think he injured, I think he had like a case of turf toe,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying this, if AD is not 100%, no matter what the circumstances is, dude died, seventh game, whatever it is, if he feels that if he's not 100%, he's not gonna play, and that's just the way his whole career been. And maybe LeBron can convince him that, hey man, you got to go tonight. Even you can just give us 25%. Anthony Davis is better than zero.
Yeah,
but,
I'd rather have you as a decoy than not have you at all.
Yeah, because it's embarrassing for the Lakers. I like the Lakers. I don't have to hide that. But hey, it's embarrassing if the defending champions go down
in the first round.
And lose again after they trail by 36 at halftime on Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't have no response to that.
Right. I mean, I want to see a sense of urgency tonight. I want to see hair on fire tonight. I want to come out. LeBron, that facilitator that's in you, go ahead, throw him away. You're a scorer all night long. You're looking to score the basketball and be aggressive. And one thing about him, when he's aggressive and he's going to the hoop, I mean, that opens everything else up, man. It really does. It opens everything else up. So, we'll see. Go ahead.
Like Phoenix, man. Phoenix is just a hard matchup for them. I mean, Phoenix, you look at all those possessions that the Lakers got to defend. I mean, these guys are driving up. They're young. I mean, it's hard. It's hard.
Everybody can shoot.
Everybody can shoot. And they pushes the tempo, and they can shoot threes. They got a problem in the paint. You got a lot of guys that you got to stop on the defensive end, and then you spend all that energy on the defensive side, and then you lose your legs and shit. I mean, you can't make jump shots. That's what it looked like. Like Schroeder. It's just like he's out of it. Like he don't have the energy no more to perform, man.
Dude, I will say this too. Oklahoma City has fumbled so much talent. I'm talking about since they moved to Oklahoma City, they've fumbled so much talent. Cameron Payne is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and he was in Oklahoma City. He was on the bench. He was dancing with Westbrook before the games, not getting in the games. Now look at him. I mean, dude, they fumble so much talent, man. And dude, Devin Booker, when he's locked in, I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, we know what he can do. And DeAndre Ayton is a star. I was telling I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody. I'm always talking to somebody about sports. Because people know I like sports, so they love to talk to me, even if they barely know me. Hey, B, I heard blah, blah, blah. So I talked to him. They were talking about Ayton and how Ayton has been, winning this matchup and basically beating the bigs for the Lakers. And I'm like, and they were saying, man, you got to I was like, dude, don't discount DeAndre Ayton being good. I said, you got to realize DeAndre Ayton is a quality basketball player already, and he hasn't even scratched the surface of how good he's probably going to be. I say, so give him his credit. Don't just say the Lakers suck and at defending him. Give him his credit saying he's beating everything they're throwing at him.
But another thing, Brandon, it's tough when you got a big like him who can run the floor, man.
He can run the floor.
He can run the floor. The Lakers ain't got a guy who's that bird. I mean, he can put an AD at center and all that, but I'm a loss of words. But the guy they got from Cleveland, he can't match up with him. I don't care what. He can't match up with him, and they're exposing that is a flaw in the Lakers game that they expose all the time. I mean, he's getting rebounds, he's running the floor, he's getting putbacks and dunks, and they got no answer for it. And it's just, man, when you look at he grabbing six, I think he had like 16 rebounds, and I don't know how many points he had, but I think he had 16 rebounds. and half of them was on the offensive end, so they getting second shots, and it's just a problem for the Lakers, man, because LeBron. No matter how big LeBron is, this guy's bigger than LeBron. I mean, it's just he's protecting the rim, and it's hard. I mean, Morris tried to do something in there, and it's hard scoring in that post when you got a guy like that 7 feet, and he can, he's athletic. He can get from his spacing is great, and he can go from one side of the paint to the other side of the paint and still defend the same way. And then they push the tempo, and then you got, Chris Paul factor, man. That Chris Paul factor, you got to factor it in. When it comes to the playoffs, he hadn't experienced a whole lot of success. And don't think that Monty Williams ain't using that as a motivation, And Monty Williams want to beat the Lakers, man. I mean, they've been like this. The Lakers has been bad to Monty Williams, and it goes back to we talking like 2009 when Kobe and them went in there and they played them in the first round, and Chris Paul last year with the Pelicans. I mean, they were on Hornets then, and they won the first game in LA and got swept the rest of the series. So there's a lot of motivation going in there, and I'm surprised, but man, Monty got these guys really playing well, man. I mean, they really doing it on both ends of the floor, and it's hard when you got a team that can defend. Not only can they defend you and get back in transition and contest your shots, they can. Hey, Chris Paul can lead the break. You got a 3-point guy in Booker. You got But 36 points, man. I mean, good Lord. I've never thought to see the day with a LeBron-led team and they down by 36. And he didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter on national television.
Yeah.
So they got
So I don't know.
That don't hurt. It'll show what kind of motivation they have tonight, man.
Yeah, it will, man. So I mean, you got a few other ones that is going to be interesting. I hope the Mavs close this out Sunday night. I see they got Sunday at 3:30. Close the Clippers out. They won last night. Luka Doncic would drop like 42 on them. I mean, so Shannon Sharp is so crazy, man. He's like, dude, he done passed every test. Dude, you threw Paul George out there, cooked him. You threw Kawhi out there, cooked him. Threw Pat Beverly out there, cooked him. Like, he's getting everything he wants. There's nothing you can do to stop him. And dude, Kristaps Porzingis he's just out there. He's just out there for cardio, jogging around, man, because he hasn't played. He's played well in spurts, maybe just a few, but I mean, he hasn't been Kristaps Porzingis. We want a walking 20 and 10, and that is not what he has been, man. But I think the Mavs are going to close it out, man, because there's Kawhi Leonard. Did you see Kawhi Leonard airball the game tying shot, and the way Rondo looked at him when he airballed that shot? Rondo looked at him like, yo, what's the problem? What's the issue?
That's the problem with the Clippers, man. I don't know if the chemistry works. I think there's more going on with that team than we all know. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of individual problems or whatever going on. And to me, Kawhi just don't look. I don't know. It just don't seem like he looks the Kawhi that was in Toronto or something. Like, it just.
He don't look hungry.
Yeah, it's just like he's complacent. Like, he attacks the rim and that kind of thing. But, man, when it comes down time for crunch time in the fourth quarter, I don't see that switch turning on like I saw in Toronto and in San Antonio and things. And, I mean, I see Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and maybe it just didn't work, man. And maybe it's just not meant to be for those two paired together, and people talking about championships being won by this two guys. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they don't play with a rhythm. It seems like, okay, you take yours, Kawhi, then Paul take the three, and it just seems like they go in possessions and they don't play with the flow. They play with, okay, I'm going to let Kawhi take it this time. and the next possession come down. Okay, it's my turn. I'm gonna take, and it just seemed like they ain't got a flow, and I don't know. It just seemed like the chemistry not right there. And it don't matter who the coach is or what. And I know people always say the Clippers are always going to be the Clippers.
I told some people that, man, because they were like, Ty Lue. So I was at the barbershop. That's where I was at. I was at the barbershop. And my barber. Matter of fact, shout out to J Mac, my barber. His New York Knicks got knocked off by Ice Trey. Ice Trey was in the building. Hey, you seen him he took a bow to make sure he took a bow, after he knocked him out in the Garden. They probably say he's probably not allowed back in New York, because he committed a 187 on the Knicks, But I told my dude, I said, the Clippers are the Clippers, man. You can talk about Ty Lue all day, talking about he terrible, talk about Doc Rivers, but the Clippers are the Clippers, man.
Yeah, man. I just say, man, tradition never lie. It's always been them Clippers.
Yeah. Always been the Clippers, man. So
they always gonna be the second team in town, man. And I think they know it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they know it. They know it. Let's see. What was this is the other one I want to talk about before we wrap this up. Brooklyn and Milwaukee. This is going to be interesting, man, because you got Kyrie, you got James Harden, you got Kevin Durant, and they can drop 90 on you at any given time between the three of them. Cool, I got it. But they have issues defending. Still, they have issues defending. And the issue they're going to have with Giannis is that who's going to keep him from the rim? They have no rim protectors on that team. The only rim protector they have is Kevin Durant, who's a pretty decent rim protector. But he ain't got enough bricks in his back pocket to keep Giannis from the rim. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. And the main thing is keeping Giannis off the free throw line. Can they do that? Because if you allow him to get 20-something free throws, like I've seen him have 25 free throws in a game. Like if you allow him to get 15 plus free throws a game, it's a wrap for you, man.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a test. We're going to see just how good Brooklyn is.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll tell you what, the way Milwaukee beat the Miami Heat, I have to put my on the Bucks, man. Look like the Bucks got it. Look like they done pushed it another level. They tired of they tired of having those early exits out of the playoffs. They got Drew Holiday, they got better defense, and it just, I don't know, man. It just looked like a different Milwaukee team based on how they dismantled they really dismantled the Heat, man. They did the Heat hard.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen them smile once all series. Nobody on the team. They were all business the whole time. I mean, because you got embarrassed by the Heat last year, so they took it very seriously. And I'm pretty sure they're going to go into Brooklyn with laser focus. I mean, especially with Giannis re-upping with them and wanting them to be a contender and bring a title to Milwaukee. I mean, this will be the first title since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or should I say Lou Alcindor, was on the team. That's a long time ago, man.
Bobby Dandridge.
It's a long time ago.
But what, Brandon, man, it's like, how is this Brooklyn team can handle stress and pressure, man? I mean, that's going to be the defining moment, man. Do they come together, or do they break apart, or they just play individual ball? I think when you play a team like Milwaukee who put the stress on you on both ends of the floor, I don't know, man. James Harden is a good guy. He's a great player. Obviously, he's the facilitator now. But, man, we'll see. You got to play. You got to defend in order to beat Milwaukee, man.
One of the issues that Brooklyn, the thing that can derail all of this for them, is Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
Kyrie Irving can derail all of this, and it could be out of his control. It ain't got to be something where he take time away from the team, or he not talking to people, or there's a personal issue. He get hurt.
Yeah,
get hurt. That could happen. KD, who's been hurt over the last 3 years, he can get hurt. James Harden get hurt. So injuries could derail him, or Kyrie just being Kyrie, and they can implode him, man.
Or they could just start pointing fingers. They go down 0-1, 0-2.
And start pointing the finger. Yeah.
Pointing fingers at each other. Man, they got to get the ball. Kevin Durant don't really complain a lot, but he's a scorer.
Yeah. Yeah. An efficient scorer.
Yeah, he's a bit. And then
So
James Harden might say, okay, they're 0-2. I got to take it upon my shoulders to carry the team. Kyrie Irving might say, man, it's my turn to lead the team. I just think it's just.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the soap opera might come out in this series, man. That's my prediction. I think the soap opera might come out between Kyrie Irving and James Harden because I don't know if they look good playing together, but I don't think they've been under duress yet.
No, they haven't. They haven't. And I will say this too. Kevin Durant, as quiet as he is, he's not going to sit back and watch those two dribble out 23 seconds of the clock. He's not going to do that. He's not. And if he does it, it's only going to be a few times. He's not going to do it for long, and he's going to address the situation. And
something else he'll do. He'll start facilitating. He'll start bringing the ball up the court.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that'll be it. Yeah, that'll be it, man. So, man, I can't.
You better, boy. Steve got a big job ahead of him right now.
Oh yeah, yes he does. Yes he does.
He's got a lot to figure it out, man. Unfortunately, the Celtics they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, no, they definitely couldn't figure it out. Let's see. So tonight we got the Nuggets and the Blazers kicking off. Oh, they playing right now. So yeah, that started at 8. I say Denver's should go ahead and take that. You do not want to get into it, even though CJ McCollum hasn't really gone off. You don't want to get into a game 7 with CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. Yeah, you don't want to get into a game 7 with them because anything could happen in a game 7. And CJ McCollum wakes up and go for 30, and Damian Lillard will go for 30, and then that'll be the end of it for Denver. So they got to close it out tonight.
Man, Portland lose this series, man. I think it'd be time for them to tear this team up, man.
Yeah, it's time now. I'll say even if you win the series, because you're not going past the next round. I don't envision them beating anybody else if they beat Denver. So yeah, it is time. It is time to figure out what you're going to do, whether it's breaking the team up or adding another piece. But this team isn't going to get it. It's not going to cut it. Yeah,
they're still like the second tier playoff team, and they just hadn't.
Yeah,
and no matter, and Lillard is a great player, man. 50 whatever he scored the other night, but they obviously got to have more than him in order for them to win big, and that's the issue. They, I know Melo played good coming off the bench, but it's just something missing. They little like the Clippers. A guy play that well and they still can't win. It's just something. I don't know. Maybe they go up tempo or follow the script of the Suns or something. But man, they got to do something.
Yeah, you have to.
Basically, wasting his career in Portland, man. Damian Lillard is like wasting away in Portland. If they can't get past the first or the second round, which is basically what it's been the whole time he's been there. I blame it on the coach. I don't think he's a great coach.
No, I don't think so either. He's average at best.
Yeah.
They are a playoff team, but just when it comes down to it, he's getting out coached at times as well, and you can see it.
Yeah.
So
especially in this series, man.
Yeah. I mean, you're down Jamal Murray. Yeah, you got Jokic, but they're down Jamal Murray. You should be able to beat this team, man.
Yeah, especially when you scoring point. I mean, they're scoring that amount of points and can't win. I mean, one of those games like 143 to something.
Yeah, something crazy, man. But yeah, man. So we won 14, man. We'll wrap it up here. Can't wait to see these games tonight and see what it brings. And should I be up burning midnight oil because these 10:30 kickoff for LA, dog. The game ain't gonna end till 1 a.m, so I'm gonna be sleepy at work in the morning. But
you can't go without a prediction, Brandon. What do you think gonna happen, man? Give me hear your prediction. Who's the Ravens gonna pull this out?
I think LA wins tonight. Especially if Anthony Davis plays. But I just think LeBron James, he ain't gonna take that sit down. He's took a lot of criticism the last couple of days. I mean, they've thrown it all on his shoulders. They criticized Anthony Davis some, but it's been mostly LeBron James. As it should be, because he's LeBron James. I seen what Chuck was calling the Anthony Davis street clothes the other day. He's so terrible, man. He's terrible.
Yeah, that's why they make the big bucks. I'm talking about Anthony Davis, man. You have to, hey, man. You come into LA, man. It ain't like playing in New Orleans.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, no. So like Julius Randle is under fire now because they're saying that, oh man, well maybe he's not the guy that we thought he was, and I'm like, golly, y'all out on Julius? Y'all just got to the playoffs the first time in almost a decade, and now you out on Julius Randle because he didn't play well in the playoffs. I mean, of course he was going to be the focus of the Atlanta Hawks. He was the focus of the Atlanta Hawks, man. Come on, nobody else could step up and do anything. So
I've been hearing like, he's the regular season Julius Randle.
yeah, that's what I've been hearing that too. I was hearing that too. They call him regular season Randle. Yeah, I did hear that too.
Yeah, they hard on you in New York, boy. You can't be so hard in New York. But boy, he didn't play well in that series, man.
No. So I got LA tonight. What you got?
Well, I'm gonna be opposite, man. I don't think AD gonna play because AD is the light switch. He ain't the what did Charles call him?
The street clothes.
Street clothes. I think he's the light switch.
Light switch.
I think he cuts it on when it's on, but when he ain't 100%, that light switch cut off, man. He asked out of the game. I don't think he's gonna play. And without AD, I just don't think the Lakers got enough answers to stop this. This is a young, hungry team, and each time they done beat the Lakers, it's just adding more confidence to a young team that's a threat. I mean, this Phoenix team, shoot, I mean, they're a team to watch. I mean, they look very good to me, and they come in with the second best record in the West. I think they figured out some things about the Lakers, man. I think that if you can run the Lakers, have your rim protector, which they have, and hit those 3-point shots and spread the floor, and just if LeBron can beat you, then we'll let LeBron beat us. But we're not gonna let those other cats beat us.
Right.
So I think that's what it's like, man. And I like to see Chris Paul, man. Chris Paul, he got to put his heart and soul in this game, in the NBA. Yeah. Maybe he do, man. Maybe the basketball guys saying, shoot, man, we done seen you hurt this, hurt that. Go to the Clippers, can't get along with James Harden. Went to the Houston, been chasing for a title. Yeah. Maybe we'll try to get you into at least the Western Conference Finals.
At least.
So no, I'm gonna predict this Phoenix gonna win.
Phoenix wins, and if Phoenix wins tonight, I can see Phoenix in the Western Conference Finals. And I mean, who's gonna beat them? Because they can beat Utah. I think they can beat Utah in the 7-game series. They can beat Denver in the 7-game series. They can beat the Mavericks in the 7-game series. So, I mean, dude, if they get past this round, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
This is probably the toughest challenge for the rest of the way.
I think so too.
They can knock them off. So
yeah.
It's just a hard matchup, man. They just a hard matchup. There's a lot of shooters on that team, man. They can knock down threes, and they like the seventh man in the rotation coming off the bench knocking down threes. So. It's gonna be tough, man. Tough for the Lakers. I like the Lakers, though. I go back to the Lakers in the 80s, but boy, I also know, man, when when you done got hit in the uppercut and you can't come back and with a knockout punch, it's hard to win a series, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, if LA doesn't win and win convincingly tonight, I don't see them winning the game 7. I mean, they got to win. I mean, they got to punch him in the mouth tonight. They got to make a statement tonight, and that'll give you confidence going into game 7. But if they win on a last-second shot or they go to overtime, something like that, I say they're not going to win game 7.
But I'll tell you what, if they take it to a game 7, I'll put my money on the Lakers if they get it to a game 7.
I hope so. I hope they're able to get it to a game 7.
Phoenix gonna say, "No, man, we don't want no game 7. We got to get this over with now.
Got to get over with tonight." So pressure burst pipe. So we'll see how they face pressure, because to be honest with you, now the pressure, and most know the average fan might not know, but the pressure is on Phoenix now.
Oh yeah,
the pressure is not on LA. Just like when the Falcons were up 28-3. And Patriots start making their march. I say the pressure's on the Falcons now, because the Falcons got to close out this game. And sure enough, the pressure burst pipes, man.
The Lakers got a player that they ain't got, man. You don't know what you might get a 50-point game tonight for LeBron. They ain't got a LeBron. They got a Booker and they got a Paul, but they ain't got a LeBron.
No.
Let's say LeBron is LeBron. LeBron can come back off a subpar game and then hit 47 or something like that, and carry the team by himself. Yeah. So the Phoenix ain't got a LeBron, so that's a fact of the word.
Yeah, man. So, well, we'll see what happens tonight. So I appreciate you for coming on with me, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all follow Mr. Reid on Twitter and Facebook, whatever. All his platforms, Florida Times-Picayune, of course. Hey, we'll be back again, hopefully sometime next week. We'll talk more about Jaguars, talk more about this facility, because I'm sure more information about these facilities is going to come out. So we'll talk about it, and how the city needs to, come on up off that wallet and get with it. More opportunities for the young people in this city. I mean, if you want to retain the current talent, because I told you, there's a lot of talent in the city, man. Just from me doing what I'm doing now, I'm meeting guys that's doing the same thing I'm doing, whether they're in different industries or different professions. They're young and they're talented and they're hungry. But Jacksonville doesn't have many outlets for creative, so a lot of them, they leave Jacksonville and go get famous somewhere else. So this will be a nice step into being able to retain the talent that Jacksonville has. Put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. You got to be long-term thinking, man. Long-term thinking, not short-term benefit. You got to think long-term.
Yeah. There's no reason why Jacksonville can't be Miami or Atlanta.
At least be better than Tampa.
At least, man. Come on. At least, man.
Well, I like to see one day in Jacksonville we can get us another sports franchise, man, so we can occupy our time in the stands. I like to see something a little bit more than the Sharks. Okay.
Yeah. Or the Giants. Yeah. Yeah. Even though the Giants are good, I will say that the Giants are good, but can we get something else, please?
Yeah. Exactly. Jacksonville.
Yeah, so.
Come on, man. We got AAA baseball. We want more.
Yeah. Gotta have it, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I may be back tomorrow with another show. I don't know. I got to see my buddy and see how we're gonna do this. But probably have one more show this week, and then I got a few lined up for next week, y'all. So man, stay tuned. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and supporting me, man. But we will be out of here, man. Peace out.
Peace.